Hello there, and welcome to this sleepy science zone. Thank you for being here, in this quiet space where nothing is required of you. You don't need to focus, you don't need to remember, and you don't even need to try to fall asleep. For now, simply allow yourself to listen, and let the rest take care of itself. Before sleep gently finds you tonight, there is one idea worth resting with for a moment. It is not a problem to solve or a belief you need to adopt. It is a realization, one that modern neuroscience and ancient philosophy, surprisingly, both point toward with remarkable agreement. The human mind was never meant to be awake, alert, and striving all the time. Over the past 20 years, brain imaging research has revealed something quietly profound. When the mind is not actively engaged in tasks, when it is not calculating, planning, or reacting, it shifts into a state governed by what scientists call the default mode network. This network becomes most active during moments of rest, gentle reflection, daydreaming, and the slow transition into sleep. Far from being idle, the default mode network plays a central role in meaning-making, emotional regulation, memory integration, and the sense of self. In simple terms, some of the deepest mental processing happens not when we push harder, but when effort fades away. Long before neuroscience could observe this with scanners and data, philosophers sensed it intuitively. Across traditions, from Stoicism to Taoism to early contemplative philosophies, there is a shared understanding that clarity does not emerge from force. Insight arises when striving softens. Life is understood not by tightening the mind, but by allowing it to rest. Modern research now supports this ancient wisdom with precise evidence. Studies published in journals such as Nature Neuroscience show that prolonged cognitive strain increases cortisol levels, disrupts emotional balance, and interferes with slow-wave sleep, the stage of sleep most closely associated with physical repair and emotional healing. Sleep, and even the moments just before it, are not passive states. They are biological transitions into restoration. As wakefulness gently loosens its grip, the brain reduces fast beta waves, those linked to problem solving and vigilance, and begins to favor slower alpha and theta rhythms. These frequencies are associated with calm awareness, emotional integration, creativity, and reduced stress reactivity. At the same time, the nervous system shifts from a state of constant doing into a state of repair and renewal. This is not something you need to control or manage. It happens naturally when you give yourself permission to rest. From a philosophical perspective, this shift carries a deeper meaning. When mental effort eases, the stories we tell ourselves about urgency, identity, and expectation begin to soften. The sense that life must be fixed or solved relaxes. The mind becomes receptive rather than reactive, open rather than defensive. Psychological research shows that this receptive state reduces rumination and supports emotional resilience. When the brain no longer grips problems tightly, it gains perspective without trying to force understanding. Deep rest, then, is not escape. It is alignment. As you listen now, subtle changes are already unfolding within you. Your heart rate begins to slow, and variability between heartbeats increases, signaling safety to the nervous system. The prefrontal cortex, so active and demanding throughout the day, releases its constant oversight. Deeper regions involved in memory, emotion, and regulation gently take the lead. This is not accidental. It is intelligent design written into your biology. Life philosophy, at its most grounded form, begins here. Not with answers, but with rest. Not with effort, but with permission. And as your breathing naturally becomes slower and your thoughts less defined, you are doing something profoundly wise. You are returning to the state where understanding no longer needs to be chased. It arrives quietly, gently, on its own. As the night continues, your body is already responding in subtle ways. Even without noticing, muscles that worked all day are beginning to soften, and the steady rhythm of your breathing is gently guiding your nervous system toward calm. One of the most fascinating discoveries in modern neuroscience is how deeply the brain values efficiency. The brain uses nearly 20% of the body's energy, despite being only a small fraction of its total mass. Because of this, it is constantly searching for moments when effort can be reduced without risk. Deep rest is one of those moments. When external demands fade, neural circuits responsible for constant monitoring begin to quiet. Research using electroencephalography shows a gradual decrease in high-frequency activity as the brain prepares for sleep. This reduction allows slower, more synchronized rhythms to emerge, supporting memory consolidation and emotional balance. Letting effort dissolve is not a loss of function. It is a shift into a different mode of intelligence. Philosophers have long observed that excessive striving narrows perception. When the mind is tightly focused on control, it becomes less sensitive to nuance, connection, and meaning. In contrast, when effort softens, awareness widens. This widening is not distraction, it is integration. Psychological studies on acceptance-based approaches show that when individuals stop forcing change, stress markers decrease. Cortisol levels fall, blood pressure stabilizes, and the body signals safety to the brain. This safety allows the mind to release defensive patterns that consume energy. At a biological level, this is the parasympathetic system taking the lead. It slows the heart, supports digestion, and activates repair processes throughout the body. Immune cells function more efficiently. Hormonal systems recalibrate. Neural connections formed during the day begin to reorganize. This is where deep rest quietly becomes healing. From a life philosophy perspective, releasing effort invites a profound reorientation. Instead of asking how to control life more effectively, the mind begins to sense when control is no longer needed. There is a subtle trust that arises, a recognition that not every moment requires intervention. This trust is not naive. It is rooted in lived experience and biological design. Life has been regulating itself long before conscious thought appeared. Your body knows how to heal cuts, regulate temperature, and restore balance without instruction. The same intelligence operates within the mind when given space. As thoughts slow, you may notice that worries lose some of their urgency. Problems that felt sharp earlier may now feel distant or incomplete. This does not mean they are solved. It means the mind has stepped out of the loop of repetition. Neuroscientists studying rumination have found that repetitive thought patterns weaken as cognitive load decreases. The brain stops rehearsing the same narratives and begins to drift more freely. This drift is not chaos. It is the early architecture of dreaming. In this state, meaning no longer needs to be constructed deliberately. It emerges gently, often as a feeling rather than a conclusion. A sense that things can be allowed to unfold without immediate action. As your awareness continues to soften, there is nothing you need to hold on to. Effort can keep dissolving, layer by layer, breath by breath. Tonight, you are not practicing discipline or control. You are practicing release. And in that release, the mind remembers something essential: that rest itself is a form of wisdom. As the night deepens, something subtle begins to shift inside you. The outside world grows quieter, and at the same time, your inner world becomes more spacious. This transition is not dramatic. It is gentle, almost unnoticeable, like dusk slowly becoming night. Neuroscience describes this phase as a movement away from externally driven attention toward internally guided awareness. During the day, your brain is constantly responding to sensory input: light, sound, tasks, conversations. But as stimulation decreases, the balance begins to change. Activity in sensory processing regions softens, while networks involved in imagination, memory, and emotional integration become more active. This is a doorway to the inner landscape. In this state, the mind is no longer anchored tightly to the present moment or the immediate environment. Instead, it begins to wander in a calm, unforced way. Brain imaging studies show increased communication between distant neural regions during this time, allowing experiences, memories, and ideas to blend more freely. This blending is essential for psychological health. When memories are integrated rather than isolated, emotional charge diminishes. Experiences that once felt sharp or unresolved are gently woven into a broader narrative. This process does not require conscious effort. In fact, conscious effort often interferes with it. Ancient philosophies spoke of this inner wandering as a form of natural reflection, not reflection driven by questions, but reflection that arises when the mind is allowed to roam. Taoist thinkers described it as moving with the current rather than against it. Modern science now understands it as neural integration. As you rest here, your brain may begin to generate imagery, soft, fragmented, and fleeting. You might notice colors, vague scenes, or sensations without clear meaning. This is not distraction. It is the early stage of dream formation, where the brain experiments with connection and symbolism. During this time, alpha and theta brain waves become more prominent. These slower rhythms are associated with creativity, emotional processing, and a reduced sense of effort. They also correlate with increased feelings of safety and calm. Safety is the key. When the brain perceives safety, it allows deeper processes to unfold. The amygdala, involved in threat detection, reduces its activity. The hippocampus, crucial for memory consolidation, becomes more engaged. Together, they help reorganize emotional experiences in a way that supports resilience. From a life philosophy perspective, this inner landscape teaches something quietly profound. Meaning does not always come from analysis. Sometimes it arises from allowing experiences to settle, to find their place without being forced. As your body becomes heavier and more relaxed, you may feel a sense of distance from the day you lived. This distance is not avoidance. It is perspective. When the mind steps back, it gains room to breathe. There is nothing you need to interpret in this state. Images can come and go. Sensations can rise and fade. The mind knows how to travel inward on its own. And as it does, it begins to prepare you for the deeper rest ahead, where effort disappears almost entirely, and awareness becomes soft, wide, and calm. Slowness is often misunderstood. In a world that rewards speed and efficiency, slowing down can feel counterintuitive, even uncomfortable. Yet biology tells a different story. Healing unfolds slowly, and the brain understands this deeply. When processes slow, regulation improves. Research in chronobiology shows that the nervous system follows rhythms, cycles of activation and rest that support long-term health. Disrupting these rhythms through constant stimulation and urgency leads to imbalance. Restoring them begins with slowing down. As your breathing continues at an easy, unforced pace, signals travel along the vagus nerve, a major pathway connecting the brain and body. These signals inform your system that it is safe to conserve energy. Heart rate decreases, blood pressure stabilizes, muscles release tension that may have gone unnoticed. This physiological slowing supports neural repair. During periods of deep rest, glial cells, often overlooked compared to neurons, become highly active. They help clear metabolic waste from the brain, a process essential for cognitive clarity and emotional stability. This cleaning process is most effective when the brain is not overstimulated. Slowness, then, is not inefficiency. It is precision. Philosophers across cultures recognized this long before the science existed. Many traditions emphasize patience, stillness, and moderation not as moral ideals, but as practical necessities for a balanced life. When life moves too fast, perception narrows. When it slows, awareness expands. Modern psychology echoes this insight. Studies on mindfulness and slow attention show reduced anxiety, improved emotional regulation, and enhanced well-being. These benefits arise not from doing more, but from allowing less. As you listen now, you may notice that time feels different. Minutes stretch, moments blur. This altered sense of time is a hallmark of reduced cortical arousal. The brain is no longer tracking duration with precision. Instead, it is entering a timeless state conducive to rest. In this state, the philosophical idea of presence takes on a new meaning. Presence is no longer effortful attention. It is simple being, awareness without demand. Thoughts may still appear, but they lack urgency. They float by, incomplete and gentle. This is the mind rehearsing its ability to let go. Slowness also restores trust. When nothing is rushed, the body remembers that it can function without constant supervision. Systems align naturally. Balance reemerges. From a healing perspective, this trust is essential. The body cannot repair itself while being constantly monitored and judged. Healing requires space, time, and gentleness. As your awareness continues to soften, allow slowness to deepen. There is nowhere to arrive, no insight to force. The value lies in the pace itself. Tonight, slowness is not a pause in your life. It is life returning to its natural rhythm. As the night carries you further inward, the boundary between thinking and dreaming begins to soften. This space you are entering now is subtle and delicate. It is not fully sleep, and it is no longer full wakefulness. Neuroscientists often refer to this as the hypnagogic state, a transitional phase where consciousness loosens its structure and becomes fluid. In this state, the brain reduces its reliance on linear logic. Activity in the frontal regions, responsible for planning and self-monitoring, gradually decreases, At the same time, sensory association areas and emotional centers begin to communicate more freely. This creates experiences that feel dreamlike, images without clear stories, sensations without obvious sources. This is not randomness, it is reorganization. Research shows that during this phase, the brain begins to replay fragments of the day, not as a strict timeline, but as impressions. Emotional tones are prioritized over facts. What mattered most, what carried feeling, receives gentle attention. This process helps the nervous system release unresolved emotional tension. From a healing perspective, this is essential. When emotions are processed without analysis, their intensity naturally decreases. The brain does not need to label or judge them. It simply allows them to pass through networks designed for integration. This is why deep rest can feel emotionally cleansing, even when nothing specific is remembered. Philosophers have long described this space as the threshold of insight. Not insight that demands articulation, but insight that settles quietly into the body. In many traditions, this state was associated with intuition, the mind's ability to understand without effort. As your awareness drifts here, you may notice brief sensations of floating, falling, or expansion. These are common signs of sensory recalibration. The brain is releasing its tight mapping of the body in space, preparing for the full immersion of sleep. There is nothing to correct if this happens, nothing to hold on to. Breathing becomes less deliberate. Muscles soften further. Even the sense of listening may fade and return. This gentle ebb and flow is the nervous system finding its rhythm. In this state, the sense of self also becomes less defined. Thoughts no longer begin with "I should" or "I must." They may appear without ownership, like passing clouds. Psychological studies suggest that this reduction in self-referential thinking is deeply restorative. It gives the brain a break from maintaining identity. From a life philosophy perspective, this offers a quiet lesson. You are more than your thoughts, more than your plans, more than the story you tell yourself during the day. When the mind rests, this truth is felt rather than understood. As you move closer to sleep, allow this softness to deepen. The mind knows how to cross this threshold on its own. There is no correct way to drift. Just let the images blur. Let the sensations dissolve. You are approaching the place where effort no longer follows you. Now, the brain begins to settle into rhythms that have guided human rest for thousands of generations. These rhythms are not learned. They are inherited, encoded in neural circuits shaped by evolution. As sleep deepens, theta waves gradually give way to slower delta waves. These are the rhythms of deep, restorative sleep. They move slowly, like ocean swells, carrying the brain into its most efficient state of repair. During this phase, the brain dramatically reduces its energy consumption. Blood flow shifts away from regions involved in conscious awareness and towards systems responsible for maintenance and restoration. Growth hormone is released, supporting tissue repair. Immune signaling becomes more active. Inflammation markers decrease. This is the body working quietly in your favor. One of the most remarkable processes occurring now is memory consolidation. Experiences from the day are transferred from short-term storage into long-term networks. Emotional memories are softened, their edges smoothed, so they no longer trigger the same intensity. This allows learning without burden. Neuroscientists have observed that during deep sleep, neurons fire in synchronized patterns, strengthening useful connections and weakening others. This pruning is essential. Without it, the brain becomes overloaded. With it, clarity returns. From a philosophical lens, this process mirrors an ancient idea. Not everything should be held onto. Wisdom includes knowing what to release. Sleep embodies this principle perfectly. It does not preserve every detail. It keeps what matters and lets the rest fade. This selective remembering is not loss. It is refinement. As you rest now, your sense of time may disappear entirely. This timelessness is a sign that the brain has disengaged from external tracking. You are no longer counting moments. You are resting within them. In this space, the concept of effort becomes meaningless. There is nothing to improve, nothing to manage. The body knows the sequence. The brain follows its natural order. Healing unfolds quietly here, not as an event, but as a process. Small adjustments accumulate. Balance is restored not through force, but through rhythm. And as the slow waves continue to rise and fall, you are carried deeper into rest, supported, unobserved, safe. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to understand. Only the gentle intelligence of sleep, doing what it has always done best. As sleep carries you further inward, the way your brain experiences time begins to change. Seconds no longer line up neatly. Minutes stretch, fold, and lose their edges. Neuroscientists describe this as temporal decoupling, a state in which the brain disengages from precise timekeeping and enters a more fluid rhythm. This shift is not a flaw. It is a feature of deep rest. During waking hours, the brain constantly tracks time to coordinate actions, decisions, and expectations. This process relies heavily on frontal and parietal regions that remain highly active throughout the day. But as sleep deepens, activity in these regions decreases, allowing time perception to dissolve. When time softens, the body gains space to repair. Without the pressure of deadlines or sequences, physiological processes unfold at their natural pace. Cellular repair accelerates. Protein synthesis increases. The immune system recalibrates, identifying what needs attention and what can be left alone. These processes depend on uninterrupted rhythms, not urgency. Research in sleep medicine shows that fragmented or rushed sleep disrupts this restoration. But when sleep is allowed to flow freely, healing becomes remarkably efficient. Even short periods of uninterrupted deep rest can improve emotional resilience, cognitive clarity, and physical recovery. Philosophically, this loss of time awareness offers a quiet lesson. Much of human stress arises from living ahead of the present moment, anticipating what comes next, measuring progress, worrying about outcomes. When time dissolves, so does this pressure. In this timeless state, the body remembers something ancient. Long before clocks existed, healing followed cycles of light and darkness, rest and movement. Your nervous system still carries this memory. As you rest now, you may notice sensations that feel unfamiliar. Gentle warmth, subtle pulsations, or a sense of spreading calm. These are signs of increased parasympathetic activity. Blood vessels dilate slightly. Oxygen delivery improves. Tissues receive the conditions they need to recover. The mind, too, benefits from this timelessness. Emotional experiences are no longer processed in sequence. Instead, they are reorganized by relevance and intensity. What no longer serves you loses its hold. What remains integrates quietly into a broader sense of meaning. This is why people often wake from deep rest with a feeling of quiet clarity, even if no specific insight comes to mind. Understanding has occurred beneath awareness. As your breathing continues to slow, the boundary between body and mind becomes less defined. Sensations blend with thoughts, then fade together. There is no need to observe this process. Observation itself gradually dissolves. In this space, rest is not something you are doing. It is something you are allowing. And as allowance deepens, the body continues its careful work, adjusting, repairing, restoring balance in ways that require no instruction. Time can keep softening. You are safe to let it go. There is a quiet paradox at the heart of healing. The more we try to force it, the further it seems to move away. Yet when we stop trying, healing often unfolds on its own. This paradox has been recognized across cultures, philosophies, and now modern science. Neuroscience shows that effort activates systems designed for action, not repair. Healing, by contrast, relies on systems that function best when effort is minimal. This is why rest is not merely absence of activity. It is an active biological state with its own intelligence. Doing nothing, in this context, is deeply purposeful. When the brain senses that nothing is required, it stops allocating resources toward monitoring and control. The prefrontal cortex reduces its activity. Stress-related neurotransmitters decrease. In their place, restorative processes become dominant. Psychological studies on burnout reveal this clearly. Recovery does not occur through productivity or problem solving. It occurs through disengagement, through allowing the nervous system to return to baseline. Philosophers have long explored this idea. In Taoist thought, Wu Wei describes effortless action, alignment with natural flow, rather than resistance. This principle is not about passivity, but about timing. Acting when action is needed, resting when rest is required. Sleep embodies Wu Wei perfectly. As you rest now, there is no improvement to chase, no version of yourself to become. Identity loosens its grip, and with it, the constant evaluation of worth and progress. Neuroscientists studying self-referential processing observe that during deep rest, activity in brain regions associated with self-judgment decreases significantly. This reduction brings relief. The mind is no longer measuring itself against expectations. This relief is healing. Without self-monitoring, emotional wounds are no longer reopened repeatedly. The mind stops rehearsing regret or anticipation. Instead, it drifts in a neutral, receptive state where integration can occur naturally. You may notice that thoughts become less personal. They feel distant, like echoes rather than statements. This is a sign that the sense of doing has softened. There is nothing to respond to, nothing to fix. From a life philosophy perspective, this state offers profound reassurance. You are allowed to exist without justification. Value does not depend on output. Being is enough. As your body continues to sink into rest, muscles release deeper layers of tension. The jaw softens. The space behind the eyes relaxes. Even the effort to listen may fade. This is not loss of awareness. It is awareness without effort. And in this effortless awareness, the body continues its quiet repair. The brain continues its gentle reorganization. Balance returns not because it is demanded, but because the conditions finally allow it. Doing nothing is not empty. It is full of intelligence, and tonight you are practicing it perfectly. As the night grows deeper, a quiet conversation begins inside you. It is not made of words, and it does not require awareness. It is a conversation between the brain and the body, one that only becomes fully audible when wakefulness steps aside. Neuroscience shows that during deep rest, communication between the brain and the body becomes more coherent. Signals traveling through the autonomic nervous system slow down and synchronize. The brain listens more than it commands. The body responds more than it resists. This dialogue is essential for healing. Throughout the day, your body constantly sends information upward about muscle tension, inflammation, fatigue, and emotional strain. But when the mind is busy, much of this information is ignored or overridden. At night, that hierarchy reverses. The brain becomes receptive. It begins to respond to the body's needs rather than imposing demands. Research in psychoneuroimmunology demonstrates that this receptive state directly influences immune function. During deep sleep, immune cells communicate more effectively, identifying areas that require repair or regulation. Inflammatory responses are modulated. Balance is restored not aggressively, but intelligently. As you rest now, this conversation is already underway. Breathing becomes slower and more diaphragmatic. This change stimulates the vagus nerve, which acts as a bridge between body and brain. Signals of safety travel upward, informing the brain that vigilance is no longer required. In response, the brain reduces stress signaling and allows restorative processes to continue. This exchange happens rhythmically, like a gentle call and response. From a philosophical perspective, this nighttime dialogue reflects a deeper truth about life. Health is not imposed from the top down. It emerges from cooperation. When different parts of a system listen to one another, harmony becomes possible. Modern culture often teaches control. Mind over body, willpower over sensation. But healing teaches something else. It teaches listening. As your muscles soften further, they release information stored throughout the day. Small tensions dissolve. Micro adjustments occur in posture and circulation. The body communicates relief upward, and the brain responds by deepening rest. This feedback loop continues quietly, without interruption. You may notice brief sensations, warmth spreading, heaviness settling, or a sense of sinking into the surface beneath you. These are signs that the body feels supported. Support allows honesty. Honesty allows healing. The mind, too, participates in this conversation. Emotional residues from the day are released not through analysis, but through physiological settling. When the body relaxes, emotional charge follows. This is why deep rest often brings emotional calm without explanation. Understanding is not verbal, it is systemic. As you drift further, the boundary between listening and responding dissolves. The system becomes self-regulating. No single part leads. Everything moves together. Tonight, you do not need to manage this conversation. It has been happening long before you were aware of it. All you need to do is continue allowing rest and let the dialogue complete itself in its own quiet language. As sleep deepens, something subtle and profound begins to occur. The sense of being a separate, observing self slowly loosens. This is not disappearance. It is softening, a gentle unbinding from the constant effort of identity. Neuroscientists studying consciousness have observed that during deep rest, activity decreases in brain regions associated with self-referential thinking. These regions help construct the feeling of me, the narrator of experience. At night, that narrator grows quiet. This quieting is deeply restorative. During the day, the self is constantly maintained. It evaluates, compares, anticipates, and remembers. This process is energetically expensive. At night, when survival demands decrease, the brain allows this structure to relax. As it does, awareness becomes more spacious and less personal. Thoughts may still arise, but they no longer cluster around identity. They feel impersonal, fragmentary, and light. Sensations float without labels. Experiences unfold without commentary. Psychological research suggests that this reduction in self-focus is linked to reduced anxiety and improved emotional health. When the mind is not constantly referencing itself, distress loses its anchor. From a philosophical standpoint, many traditions regarded this nighttime dissolution as sacred, not because it was mystical, but because it revealed something essential. The self is not fixed. It is a process, one that can rest. As you lie here now, the effort to be someone, to hold a role, a story, a responsibility, can continue to fade. There is no need to define yourself in this moment. Identity can wait until morning. This waiting is not neglect. It is care. As the sense of self softens, the brain reallocates energy toward integration. Experiences from the day are no longer sorted by importance to identity. They are reorganized by relevance to balance and learning. Emotional sharpness dulls. Perspective widens. You may feel a sense of expansion or neutrality, a feeling of being less contained. These sensations are signs that self-boundaries are relaxing. There is nothing to correct here. In this state, life philosophy becomes embodied rather than conceptual. You no longer think about meaning. You rest inside it. Existence does not need justification. It simply unfolds. This is one of the deepest gifts of sleep. It reminds you that you are more than your thoughts, more than your roles, more than your efforts. As awareness continues to thin and spread, even the idea of listening may dissolve. Sound blends into silence. Sensation blends into stillness. The self does not disappear. It rests. And in that rest, something essential is restored. An ease that cannot be forced during waking hours, but returns naturally when effort finally steps aside. You are safe to let this soft dissolving continue. As sleep settles more deeply, the brain turns into something like a careful gardener. It does not rush. It does not force growth. Instead, it tends, trims, and nourishes what already exists, creating the conditions for balance to return. Neuroscientists have observed that during deep sleep, the brain engages in synaptic homeostasis. Throughout the day, countless connections between neurons are strengthened as you learn, react, and adapt. By night, many of these connections are no longer needed. If they all remained equally strong, the brain would become noisy, inefficient, and overwhelmed. So the night brain prunes gently. Connections that matter are reinforced. Those that carry less meaning are softened. This selective tuning improves clarity, emotional stability, and learning capacity. It is not deletion, it is refinement. This process depends on deep rest. When sleep is shallow or interrupted, pruning becomes incomplete. The mind may feel cluttered the next day, emotions more reactive, attention less steady. But when rest is allowed to deepen naturally, the gardener does its work quietly and well. You are not required to oversee this process. As your body lies still, cerebrospinal fluid flows more freely through the brain's tissues, washing away metabolic byproducts that accumulate during wakefulness. This cleansing system, known as the glymphatic system, becomes significantly more active during sleep. It is one of the brain's primary maintenance mechanisms. Healing here is literal. From a philosophical perspective, there is a quiet lesson embedded in this nightly care. Growth does not come only from addition. Sometimes it comes from subtraction, from letting go of what no longer serves. Many life philosophies emphasize this truth. Simplicity is not lack, it is alignment. When excess falls away, what remains can function with ease. As the gardener works, emotional memories are also tended. Experiences that once carried sharp edges are softened. Their intensity is reduced, allowing wisdom to remain without pain. This is why time, combined with rest, often heals emotional wounds better than analysis ever could. As you rest now, this gentle tending continues without interruption. There is no right way to experience it. You may drift in and out of awareness. You may not remember anything at all. Both are signs that the process is working. The body mirrors this refinement. Muscles release tension stored unconsciously. The jaw loosens. The shoulders settle. Micro movements occur as posture adjusts itself without effort. Nothing needs to be corrected. This is not improvement through striving. It is improvement through care. And as the night brain continues its quiet gardening, you are supported by a system that knows exactly what to keep, what to soften, and what to let rest until morning. As awareness becomes thinner and quieter, meaning itself begins to change. During the day, meaning often feels like something to be constructed through achievement, explanation, or progress. At night, meaning returns to its simplest form. It becomes a feeling of being held. Neuroscience suggests that when the brain reduces its evaluative activity, emotional tone becomes more primary than narrative. You no longer ask what something means. You sense whether it feels safe, settled, or complete. This shift is deeply regulating. Research on effective neuroscience shows that safety is the foundation of emotional health. When the brain perceives safety, it allows openness. When it perceives threat, it tightens perception and narrows focus. Deep rest is one of the most reliable signals of safety the brain can receive. As you rest now, the nervous system continues to confirm that there is nothing to guard against. Breathing remains slow. Heart rhythms stay coherent. Hormonal systems stabilize. This physiological safety supports a psychological truth. You are allowed to exist without explanation. From a life philosophy perspective, this is profound. Much of human exhaustion comes from the belief that life must constantly be justified through productivity, usefulness, or identity. Sleep quietly dismantles this belief each night. In rest, value is no longer conditional. You do not earn rest by finishing everything. You are not required to understand everything. You are simply here, and that is enough. As awareness continues to fade, thoughts lose their edges. They no longer point forward or backward. They hover briefly, then dissolve. This is the mind practicing non-attachment, not as a discipline, but as a natural state. Philosophers often struggle to describe this state with words. Some called it peace. Others called it emptiness. But neuroscience offers a simpler description: reduced cortical arousal combined with emotional regulation. In this state, meaning is not something you think about. It is something you feel, a quiet rightness, a sense that nothing is missing. As the night holds you, there is no insight to chase, no realization to force. If understanding comes, it will arrive gently, without announcement. And if it does not, that is also perfect, because rest itself is already doing the work that understanding cannot. You are returning to the ground beneath all effort, the place where healing does not require explanation. Let this ground hold you now. As the night continues, your body begins to remember something older than thought. Long before language, before plans or explanations, the body learned how to recognize safety. Darkness, stillness, and warmth were signals. When those signals aligned, repair could begin. Neuroscience shows that the nervous system is constantly scanning for cues of safety or threat. This process happens far below conscious awareness. At night, when light dims and movement slows, these cues shift. The brain receives consistent messages that vigilance is no longer required. As these messages accumulate, the stress response system powers down. Cortisol levels gradually decrease. Adrenal activity softens. The sympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for action and defense, steps aside. In its place, the parasympathetic system becomes dominant, guiding digestion, immune repair, and cellular renewal. This transition is not sudden. It unfolds gently, like layers settling. As your body senses safety, it allows deeper relaxation. Muscles that stayed slightly contracted all day finally release. Tiny adjustments in posture occur without instruction. Circulation improves in areas that were previously tight or restricted. The body is not relaxing because you told it to. It is relaxing because it knows it can. Psychologists studying trauma and recovery have found that safety is the single most important condition for healing. Without safety, the body remains guarded. With safety, it begins to reorganize itself naturally. Sleep provides this safety in its purest form. From a philosophical perspective, this nighttime return to safety carries meaning. Many struggles in waking life come from living in a state of constant alert, anticipating danger, failure, or loss. Rest offers an alternative experience. It shows the body that existence does not always require defense. As you lie here now, this lesson is being absorbed without effort. The body learns that it can rest without consequence, that nothing bad happens when vigilance fades. This learning is subtle, but it reshapes future responses to stress. You may notice a sense of heaviness or warmth spreading through your limbs. These sensations reflect increased blood flow and reduced muscular tension. They are signs that the body is settling into itself. Breathing continues at its own pace. There is no need to guide it. Each breath reinforces the signal of safety, deepening the state of rest. In this state, memory also changes. The brain begins to store experiences differently, emphasizing calm over urgency. Emotional memories lose some of their intensity. The nervous system learns new associations: darkness with peace, stillness with support. These associations matter. They shape how easily you relax in the future. As the night holds you, there is nothing to prove, no role to perform. The body does not care who you are or what you have done. It only responds to conditions. And right now, the conditions are gentle. Allow this remembering to continue. The body knows how to return to balance when safety is present. It has done so countless times before, and it is doing so again now. Deep within the resting brain, patterns are changing, not dramatically, not all at once, but quietly, in ways that are more enduring than conscious effort. Neuroscientists studying emotional learning have discovered that sleep plays a crucial role in updating emotional responses. During deep rest, the brain revisits emotional experiences from the day, not to relive them, but to recalibrate them. This recalibration happens without narrative. The emotional centers of the brain, including the amygdala and related networks, communicate with memory systems in a softened state. Emotional charge is reduced. Context is added. Reactions are reshaped so they no longer trigger the same intensity. This is emotional healing at its most fundamental level. During waking hours, emotional patterns can feel fixed. Triggers repeat. Reactions seem automatic, but at night, those patterns loosen. The brain is no longer defending against immediate threats. It can afford to update its responses. As you rest now, this updating is underway. Psychological research shows that people who get sufficient deep sleep show improved emotional regulation, reduced reactivity, and greater resilience. They are not suppressing emotions. They are integrating them. Integration is the key. From a life philosophy perspective, this suggests something important. Change does not always come from insight or willpower. Sometimes it comes from allowing the system to rest deeply enough to reorganize itself. In this state, emotions are not enemies to overcome. They are signals being processed. Their message is acknowledged, and their urgency fades. You may notice that worries feel distant or unfinished. This is a sign that the brain is releasing its grip on them. There is no need to resolve anything tonight. Resolution often emerges on its own after rest. As the sense of self remains soft, emotional stories lose their hold. Without a strong narrator, emotions pass through without attaching to identity. They are experienced, then released. This release does not erase experience. It transforms it. The body supports this transformation. As muscles remain relaxed and breathing steady, the brain continues to receive feedback that there is no danger. This feedback allows emotional circuits to update safely. Over time, these small updates accumulate. Patterns shift. Reactions soften. Space opens where tension once lived. This is why rest is not avoidance. It is preparation. As awareness continues to thin, there is nothing to attend to. Emotions can come and go without comment. They do not need to be understood or named. The system is doing its work quietly, beneath thought. Let this quiet rewriting continue. The mind and body are learning together how to respond with less strain and more ease. Tonight, you are not fixing yourself. You are allowing yourself to be repaired. As the night moves on, something subtle but powerful continues to unfold beneath awareness. The mind and body are no longer working as separate systems. They are moving back toward wholeness, toward a state where signals align instead of compete. Neuroscience shows that during deep rest, boundaries between systems soften. Brain regions that usually operate independently begin to synchronize their activity. Emotional centers, memory networks, and bodily regulation systems communicate more fluidly. This synchronization supports a sense of internal coherence, an experience often described simply as feeling okay without knowing why. This feeling is not trivial. It is the nervous system recognizing balance. During waking hours, internal systems are often pulled in different directions. Thoughts demand speed. Emotions demand attention. The body demands care. At night, these demands quiet down, and the systems begin to listen to one another again. This listening is restorative. As you rest now, the brain reduces its need to prioritize. There is no hierarchy of urgency. Everything that needs attention receives it in its own time. This is why sleep can feel like a reset, not because it erases life, but because it reconnects its parts. Philosophers have long described wholeness as the absence of internal conflict, not the absence of difficulty, but the absence of inner division. Sleep moves you gently toward this state by removing the conditions that create division in the first place. Without pressure, without judgment, without effort, the system realigns. Physiologically, this realignment is visible. Hormonal rhythms stabilize. Blood sugar regulation improves. Neural excitability decreases. The body becomes less reactive and more responsive. These changes support long-term health in ways that conscious effort cannot easily replicate. From a psychological perspective, wholeness feels like relief, not excitement, not achievement, just relief. The sense that you are no longer pulling yourself in opposite directions. As awareness continues to fade, you may feel moments of neutrality, neither happy nor sad, neither alert nor asleep. These moments are not emptiness. They are integration points where the system settles into coherence. There is nothing to hold on to here, nothing to interpret. Thoughts may appear less frequently. Sensations may blur. Even the idea of rest may fade. This is not loss. It is the mind releasing unnecessary structure. In this state, healing does not announce itself. It does not feel dramatic. It feels quiet and ordinary. And that is precisely why it lasts. The body remembers this state. The brain stores it as a reference point. In the future, returning to rest may become easier because the system recognizes the path. You are not forcing wholeness tonight. You are allowing it to return. And as the night continues to carry you, this return deepens naturally, breath by breath, without instruction. Now, the edges of awareness become very thin. Thought no longer forms complete shapes. Sensation fades into background. You are approaching a state where effort has no place. Neuroscientists describe this as a phase of minimal cognitive activity. The brain is still active, deeply active, but not in ways that involve thinking, deciding, or monitoring. Instead, it operates through slow, synchronized rhythms that support maintenance and repair. In this phase, the brain is not concerned with meaning, identity, or memory. It is concerned with balance. This balance is achieved through reduction. Neural firing becomes more uniform. Variability decreases. Systems that were once busy negotiating now settle into agreement. From the outside, this looks like stillness. From the inside, it is harmony. Philosophers have struggled to describe this state because it exists beyond language. It is not awareness of something. It is awareness without an object. Not focused, not diffuse, simply present. Sleep scientists note that this state is crucial. Without it, recovery remains incomplete. With it, even brief rest can restore clarity and resilience. As you rest now, there is no observer left to judge how well you are resting. That observer has softened, stepped back, or dissolved entirely. This absence is not emptiness. It is freedom from evaluation. Freedom is deeply healing. When nothing is being measured, the system can settle fully. There is no signal to perform, no demand to improve, no pressure to arrive anywhere. Breathing continues quietly. Heart rhythms remain slow and steady. The body exists without commentary. The brain exists without narrative. In this state, the concept of life philosophy loses its intellectual form. Philosophy becomes embodied, not something you think about, but something you are aligned with. Being is enough. There is no separation between rest and healing here. They are the same process. Rest is healing. Healing is rest. As awareness thins even further, there may be gaps, moments without memory, without sensation, without sound. These gaps are signs that sleep is deepening. They do not need to be filled. Let them be empty. Let them be quiet. Nothing important is lost in these spaces. What matters is being restored beneath them. You do not need to follow the voice anymore. You do not need to hold on to these words. They can fade, soften, and disappear. The system knows where to go next. And as effort dissolves completely, you are carried gently into the kind of rest where nothing is required and everything essential is quietly taken care of. As the night deepens even further, learning continues, though not the kind that happens through effort or attention. This learning has no language. It is absorbed through rhythm, repetition, and quiet presence. Neuroscientists describe this as implicit learning. Unlike conscious learning, which depends on focus and memory, implicit learning occurs beneath awareness. It shapes patterns, expectations, and emotional responses without requiring understanding. Sleep is one of the most powerful environments for this kind of learning. While you rest, your brain is quietly updating its models of the world. It learns what is safe. It learns what can be released. It learns that stillness does not lead to danger. This learning is deeply healing. During waking hours, the brain constantly predicts outcomes. These predictions are shaped by past experiences, some accurate, some outdated. At night, when external input is minimal, these predictions are gently revised. Fear-based expectations lose strength. Neutral or calm expectations gain ground. This is not imagination. It is neuroplasticity in action. As slow-wave sleep continues, neural circuits involved in threat anticipation reduce their sensitivity. Emotional responses become more proportional. The nervous system recalibrates its baseline, lowering the likelihood of chronic tension. From a life philosophy perspective, this quiet learning teaches something essential. Not all growth requires struggle. Some growth happens when struggle stops. Many traditions spoke of wisdom that comes not from study, but from silence. Science now reveals the biological foundation of that insight. Silence allows the brain to rewrite itself gently. As you rest now, you are absorbing this lesson without effort. The body learns that rest is not abandonment. The mind learns that stillness is not emptiness. Even discomfort, when allowed to settle, loses its urgency. Without attention, it fades into neutrality. This teaches the nervous system resilience, not by confrontation, but by patience. You may drift in and out of awareness. You may not remember this moment at all. That is perfectly fine. Implicit learning does not require memory. It leaves traces without leaving stories. These traces influence how you respond tomorrow, how quickly you calm, how easily you release tension. The night teaches without speaking. It teaches through repetition and safety. And as it continues to hold you, its lessons settle deeper, shaping balance quietly and permanently. Now, awareness becomes wide and indistinct, not focused on any one thing, not anchored to thought or sensation. This spaciousness is one of the deepest gifts of rest. Neuroscience suggests that as sleep deepens, the brain's networks become less compartmentalized. Boundaries between regions soften. Activity spreads evenly, like calm light filling a room. This spaciousness is not emptiness, it is coherence. In this state, the mind is no longer divided into observer and observed. There is no center of attention. Experience unfolds without ownership. This is why time, identity, and intention feel absent or vague. Philosophers describe this state as unity, not as a belief, but as a direct experience. Science describes it as reduced differentiation between neural networks. Different language, same phenomenon. As you rest now, this spaciousness supports deep restoration. Without boundaries, the system does not waste energy maintaining separation. Everything functions together. This integration allows subtle repair. Micro adjustments occur across neural pathways. Emotional tone evens out. Sensory thresholds recalibrate. The system becomes less reactive and more stable. From a healing perspective, this is profound. Many forms of stress arise from fragmentation. Mind against body, thought against feeling, self against experience. Sleep dissolves these divisions naturally. You are not required to unify anything. It is already happening. As awareness thins further, the sense of listening may disappear entirely. Words become background texture. Sound blends into silence. This is not loss of consciousness. It is the quieting of structure. In this space, there is nothing to interpret, no signal to follow, no instruction to remember. Rest has become complete in itself. The body continues its steady rhythm. The brain continues its gentle synchronization. Everything essential proceeds without interruption. If there are moments of complete absence, no thought, no sensation, no memory, those moments are signs that sleep has fully arrived. They do not need to be noticed. Let them pass unnoticed. That is their purpose. As the spacious mind holds you, there is no boundary between rest and being. You are no longer resting. You are simply existing, supported by rhythms older than thought. And in this quiet existence, healing continues without effort, without awareness, without interruption, exactly as it was always meant to. As the night reaches its deepest point, the world outside becomes almost entirely irrelevant. Sound fades into distance, sensation softens into background, and within you, the intelligence of stillness begins to take over. This is not a poetic idea. It is a biological reality, observed again and again in sleep research. In the deepest phases of rest, the brain operates with remarkable efficiency. Neural firing slows and synchronizes, reducing noise and conserving energy. Instead of reacting to the environment, the brain turns inward, maintaining balance across systems that rarely align so completely during the day. Stillness is not inactivity. It is coordination. Studies in systems neuroscience show that when external input is minimal, internal regulation becomes more precise. The brain no longer wastes energy switching between tasks or monitoring threats. Instead, it stabilizes internal states, temperature, chemistry, emotional tone, bringing them back toward equilibrium. This equilibrium is the foundation of healing. As you rest now, Your body is engaged in countless small adjustments. Hormonal signals recalibrate. Cells repair microscopic damage. Neural circuits fine-tune their sensitivity. None of this requires attention. In fact, attention would only interfere. From a philosophical perspective, stillness has always been misunderstood. Many cultures equated it with absence, emptiness, or withdrawal. Yet contemplative traditions understood something modern science now confirms. Stillness is a condition in which complexity can resolve itself. When movement stops, patterns settle. When noise fades, coherence emerges. This is why forcing solutions during exhaustion rarely works. The mind needs stillness to reorganize. The body needs stillness to repair. Life needs stillness to remain sustainable. As awareness continues to dissolve, you may notice long stretches without thought. These gaps are not blank. They are densely active at levels below consciousness. The brain is doing more with less. In these gaps, the sense of effort disappears completely. There is no trying, no listening, no awareness of rest itself. This is not unconsciousness. It is deep, unstructured presence. The nervous system recognizes this state as safe beyond question. Defensive circuits remain quiet. Stress hormones remain low. The body commits fully to repair. From this depth, a subtle resilience is rebuilt. Not the resilience of endurance, but the resilience of balance. The ability to return to calm after disturbance. This is one of the most powerful outcomes of deep rest. It does not make life easier. It makes you more adaptable to life. As the night holds you here, there is nothing to observe and nothing to release. Stillness has already done that work. You are resting in a state where effort has no function. And in this deep night, the intelligence of stillness continues its work, patient, precise, and completely reliable. You do not need to trust it. It is already happening. Now, rest becomes so complete that even the idea of resting begins to fade. This is the point where the mind releases its final layer of structure. There is no longer a sense of doing, allowing, or listening. There is simply the continuation of biological rhythm. Sleep researchers describe this phase as deep, consolidated sleep, periods where arousal thresholds are high and awareness is nearly absent. Yet within this absence, the brain is extraordinarily active in ways that sustain life. Neural oscillations slow into steady, repeating patterns. These patterns support long-term stability in mood, cognition, and physical health. Without them, the nervous system remains fragile. With them, it becomes resilient. At this depth, the brain no longer distinguishes between internal and external. Sensory input is minimal. Internal imagery has dissolved. The system exists in a unified state, governed by rhythm rather than reaction. This is where rest completes itself. Philosophically, this state has often been described as emptiness or void, but science offers a gentler description. It is a state of minimal differentiation, a condition where systems are no longer competing for dominance. Competition requires energy. Cooperation requires rest. As cooperation becomes complete, healing reaches its deepest level. Immune responses recalibrate. Neural inflammation reduces. Emotional memory loses its residual charge. Even chronic patterns of tension begin to soften. Given enough nights like this, you are not aware of any of this, and that is exactly why it works. Awareness is no longer needed. Consciousness has done its part and stepped aside. What remains is the quiet maintenance of life. In this state, the concept of philosophy no longer exists. There are no questions about meaning, purpose, or direction. Those questions belong to the waking mind. Here, existence does not require interpretation. Being is sufficient. As breathing continues, slow and automatic, the body remains deeply supported. Circulation is efficient. Muscles are fully relaxed. The brain maintains its rhythms without interruption. If awareness flickers briefly, it quickly fades again. There is nothing for it to attach to, no sound to follow, no thought to complete. This is not loss. It is completion. From this depth, the system prepares quietly for what comes next, not waking yet, but continued rest. Each cycle reinforces balance. Each wave of sleep stabilizes the nervous system further. And so the night continues, carrying you without effort, without awareness, without need. There is nothing left to understand, nothing left to release. Only rest, complete in itself, holding you exactly where you are meant to be. As the night continues beyond awareness, the body and brain enter a phase of renewal so quiet that it leaves no trace in memory. This renewal is not dramatic, and it does not announce itself. It unfolds through structure, an invisible architecture built from rhythm, chemistry, and time. Sleep scientists describe this stage as a period of high stability. Brain activity remains slow and synchronized, allowing large-scale coordination across regions. This coordination is essential. Without it, repair would remain fragmented, incomplete, and inefficient. At this depth, the brain is no longer processing experiences as stories. It is maintaining infrastructure. Neural membranes restore their electrical balance. Receptors reset their sensitivity. Chemical gradients normalize after a day of fluctuation. These adjustments may seem small, but together they determine how clearly you think and how steadily you feel tomorrow. The body mirrors this process. Tissues receive nutrients more evenly. Micro damage accumulated through daily movement is repaired. Inflammatory signals that rose during stress begin to resolve. The immune system, no longer distracted by constant alerts, performs its surveillance calmly and thoroughly. This is maintenance, not intervention. From a philosophical perspective, this stage reflects a truth often overlooked in waking life. Stability does not come from constant correction. It comes from allowing systems to return to their natural design. When interference stops, order reemerges. The night provides the conditions for this return. As you rest now, there is no sense of effort or release. Even the idea of letting go has disappeared. The system has taken over completely. There is no decision-making, no evaluation, no narrative, just continuation. Neuroscientists emphasize that this stage is critical for long-term resilience. Without it, emotional regulation weakens, attention fragments, and physical recovery slows. With it, the system regains its baseline, a state of readiness without tension. This readiness is not alertness, it is balance. The body does not prepare for tomorrow by planning. It prepares by restoring itself to neutrality. From neutrality, response becomes fluid rather than forced. If awareness briefly touches this state, it finds nothing to hold on to. No image, no sound, no thought. This absence is not emptiness in the negative sense. It is the absence of unnecessary activity. Philosophers might call this simplicity. Biologists call it efficiency. In this simplicity, nothing is wasted, energy is conserved, Signals are precise. Healing continues uninterrupted. The night does not rush this process. There is no goal to reach, no endpoint to achieve. Renewal unfolds at its own pace, guided by cycles older than thought. As this architecture of renewal continues to assemble itself beneath awareness, there is nothing for you to do. You are not resting anymore. You are being maintained. And this maintenance, quiet and invisible, is one of the most profound forms of care that exists in nature. Now, rest moves into a place beyond recall. This is the kind of rest you will never remember, yet it shapes you more than any conscious experience. Sleep researchers often say that the most important parts of sleep are the ones we cannot describe. They leave no image, no sensation, no thought behind, and yet they matter deeply. In this phase, consciousness is almost entirely absent, but absence does not mean inactivity. The brain continues its slow, rhythmic coordination. Delta waves dominate, creating a stable environment for repair. Neural networks that rarely align during the day now move together with remarkable consistency. This consistency allows healing to complete cycles that cannot finish during lighter rest. Emotional circuits settle into long-term regulation. Stress responses recalibrate their thresholds. The nervous system updates its expectations about the world, not through reasoning, but through repetition of safety. Night after night, this repetition teaches the body that it can return to calm. This teaching is permanent in a way conscious reassurance is not. From a philosophical perspective, this state represents a surrender beyond intention. You are not choosing to let go. Letting go has already happened. Identity, awareness, and effort have all stepped aside. What remains is life sustaining itself. There is something quietly reassuring about this. It means that healing does not depend entirely on understanding, discipline, or insight. It means that even when you are exhausted, confused, or overwhelmed, restoration can still occur. You do not have to participate. As the body rests here, breathing remains steady and automatic. Heart rhythms stay slow and regular. Blood flow supports organs evenly. The brain maintains its internal environment with precision. This is why deep sleep is irreplaceable. No amount of reflection or relaxation during waking hours can fully replicate this state. It belongs to the night alone. Philosophers sometimes spoke of trust in life. This is where that trust becomes biological. The system demonstrates again and again that it knows how to care for itself when allowed. There is no fear here, no anticipation, no regret, only continuity. If there are moments of complete blankness, periods where nothing is known or felt, those moments are not interruptions. They are the core of the process. They are the spaces where repair completes without interference. You will not remember them, but you will feel their effects. You may wake with more patience, with less reactivity, with a subtle sense that things are manageable again. These shifts come not from insight, but from restoration. As the night continues, rest remains deep and unobserved. Healing continues without effort. Time continues without measurement. There's nothing left to guide, nothing left to explain. Only the quiet intelligence of sleep, doing exactly what it has always done, holding you in a state where life can repair itself without asking anything in return. As the deepest hours of the night continue, there is a quiet holding taking place. The night becomes a container for everything the day was unable to carry. Effort Unfinished emotion, unanswered questions, and unexpressed fatigue are no longer suspended in awareness. They are gently absorbed into stillness. Neuroscience suggests that during prolonged deep sleep, the brain temporarily suspends the need to resolve experience. Instead of closure, it offers containment. Neural networks that were overloaded during the day reduce their activity together, preventing further strain. This collective slowing allows the system to rest without needing resolution. This is not avoidance. It is protection. Research into stress physiology shows that unresolved cognitive or emotional demands can keep the nervous system in a heightened state. Sleep interrupts this loop. By lowering arousal across the entire system, the brain prevents overload from becoming injury. As you rest now, this interruption is already complete. The night does not ask questions. It does not seek explanations. It simply holds. In this holding, emotional weight loses urgency. What once felt sharp becomes distant, not erased, but temporarily set down. From a philosophical perspective, this capacity to hold without resolving is deeply wise. Many traditions speak of patience not as waiting for answers, but as allowing experience to exist without demand. Sleep embodies this patience perfectly. In this state, the mind no longer insists on clarity. It allows ambiguity to remain unresolved. This allowance reduces pressure and preserves energy. Tomorrow's understanding depends on tonight's rest. Physiologically, this holding is supported by global inhibition. Neural firing thresholds increase. The brain becomes less responsive to internal noise. Emotional circuits quiet not because they are suppressed, but because they are no longer required to act. As breathing remains slow and even, the body continues to signal that nothing needs immediate attention. Muscles stay relaxed. Organs function steadily. Energy is conserved for repair rather than response. You may not feel this holding. That is its strength. The most effective support is often the least noticeable. Like the ground beneath you, it does not call attention to itself. It simply remains. As the night continues to hold what the day could not, the system learns something important. It learns that not everything must be solved immediately. That rest can exist alongside uncertainty. That safety does not depend on answers. This learning reshapes how stress is carried in the future. Over time, nights like this reduce the cumulative weight of unresolved experience. The nervous system becomes less burdened. Recovery becomes more efficient. Emotional resilience grows quietly, without effort. You are not processing these lessons consciously. They are being written into rhythm and response. The night holds without judgment, without expectation, without timeline. And as it continues to do so, you are supported in a way that requires nothing from you. Not understanding, not acceptance, not awareness, only rest. Now, far from waking, the system begins a subtle movement, not upward into awareness, but inward toward balance. This movement is not a transition you can feel. It is not a change in state. It is a refinement within deep rest itself. Sleep researchers observe that throughout the night, the brain cycles through patterns of deep and lighter sleep. Even within deep sleep, micro-adjustments occur. These adjustments fine-tune regulation without disturbing rest. Balance is not static. It is continuously maintained. As you remain asleep, the brain reassesses internal conditions. Hormonal levels are adjusted slightly. Neural sensitivity is recalibrated. emotional tone settles into neutrality. These changes are small but cumulative. This is how restoration becomes lasting. From a biological perspective, balance is achieved not by eliminating fluctuation, but by allowing fluctuation within safe limits. Deep sleep provides those limits. It contains variation, so it does not become chaos. As your body continues to rest, it becomes less reactive to internal noise. Minor discomforts no longer trigger alertness. The system remains calm even as it adjusts. This calm allows repair to proceed uninterrupted. Philosophically, balance has often been described as harmony rather than control. Harmony does not require uniformity. It requires relationship. Sleep restores these relationships between systems that drift apart during the day. Mind and body realign. Emotion and sensation synchronize. Action and rest regain proportion. This realignment is not dramatic. It does not announce completion. It feels like nothing at all, and that is precisely why it works. You are not aware of returning to balance. You simply arrive there. As the night continues, there is no urgency to move anywhere else. The system remains deeply engaged in maintenance. Each cycle reinforces stability. Each quiet hour reduces strain accumulated over weeks, months, even years. There is no pressure to awaken refreshed. Rest itself is sufficient. If awareness flickers briefly, it finds no tension. Nothing calling for attention. Nothing demanding interpretation. It fades again without resistance. The body continues breathing. The heart continues its slow rhythm. The brain continues its steady coordination. This is balance in its most fundamental form. Not something achieved, but something restored. And as the night moves forward, still holding you in deep sleep, this balance becomes the new baseline from which waking life will later emerge. For now, there is no need to approach morning. No need to prepare. Rest continues. Healing continues. Balance continues, all without effort. Deep within the night, when awareness has long since withdrawn, life continues in a steady, uninterrupted flow. Nothing dramatic happens here, and yet everything essential is preserved. This is the quiet continuity of life, the way existence sustains itself when no one is watching. Neuroscientists describe this phase of sleep as one of maximum conservation and stability. Energy expenditure is minimal. Neural signaling is efficient and rhythmic. The brain is no longer adapting to new input. It is maintaining what already exists. This maintenance is not passive. It is active continuity. Continuity means that life does not need to restart each morning from zero. It carries itself forward through the night. At the cellular level, countless processes are underway. DNA repair mechanisms correct small errors accumulated during the day. Proteins are folded and refolded into stable configurations. Mitochondria, tiny power centers within cells, restore their efficiency. These processes ensure that life resumes without degradation. You are not aware of any of this, and you do not need to be. Sleep scientists emphasize that continuity is one of sleep's most underrated functions. Without it, the body would slowly fragment. Systems would drift out of alignment. Small inefficiencies would accumulate into exhaustion and illness. But with deep, uninterrupted rest, continuity is protected. From a philosophical perspective, this quiet preservation reflects something deeply reassuring. Life does not rely solely on conscious intention. It does not collapse when attention disappears. It knows how to carry itself forward through rhythm and repetition. This is why sleep feels safe at its deepest level. There is nothing to supervise, nothing to fix. Existence holds itself. As the body remains still, internal cycles continue. Temperature regulation remains precise. Blood chemistry stays within narrow, healthy ranges. Neural communication remains coherent. The system does not drift into disorder because sleep itself is an organizing force. Many people fear letting go completely. They fear that without control, things will fall apart. Sleep offers a living contradiction to that fear. Night after night, you let go entirely, and life continues flawlessly. This lesson is absorbed without awareness. The nervous system learns that release is not dangerous, that stillness does not equal loss. This learning carries into waking life in subtle ways, reducing the need for constant vigilance. As the night continues, there is no sense of progression, no movement toward a goal. Continuity does not require direction. It simply requires time and rest. In this state, the idea of healing changes. Healing is no longer something that happens to a problem. It is the preservation of wholeness, the quiet prevention of imbalance, the steady maintenance of life's integrity. You may never remember this part of the night, but it shapes you nonetheless. It shapes how resilient your nervous system feels, how steady your emotions are, how easily you recover from strain. Continuity is not exciting. It is essential. And as the night holds you in this deep, unbroken rest, life continues through you effortlessly, maintaining itself with a patience older than thought. Now, rest has reached a depth where trust is no longer an idea. It is a condition. The system trusts itself completely. There is no monitoring, no checking, no anticipation of interruption. Sleep researchers describe this as a state of minimal arousal and maximal stability. External awareness is absent. Internal disturbance is minimal. The brain has no reason to prepare for action. It commits fully to rest. This commitment is profound. Trust, at a biological level, means the absence of defensive readiness. Muscles remain relaxed. Stress pathways remain quiet. Hormonal systems operate without emergency signals. The body believes, without thought, that it is safe. This belief is not cognitive. It is physiological. From a life philosophy perspective, this state reveals something deeply human. Trust does not always come from reassurance or certainty. Sometimes it comes from repetition, from returning to safety night after night until the system no longer doubts it. Deep sleep builds this trust slowly, invisibly. As you remain asleep, the nervous system continues to learn that rest is reliable, that nothing bad happens when vigilance fades completely. This learning reshapes baseline stress levels over time. It makes calm more accessible during the day. You are not practicing trust, you are embodying it. At this depth, even dreams are sparse or absent. The mind is not exploring, it is resting. The self is not present. Identity has no function here. This absence is not frightening, it is comforting. Without identity, there is nothing to defend. Without goals, there is nothing to pursue. Without awareness, there is nothing to fear. The system exists in pure maintenance mode. Philosophers sometimes spoke of surrender as the highest form of peace. Biology offers a parallel truth. Surrender occurs naturally when safety is absolute. No decision is required. As the night continues, trust remains unbroken. Each cycle of deep sleep reinforces it. Each hour without interruption strengthens it. This trust does not disappear when you wake. It leaves traces, subtle ones. A slightly lower baseline of tension, a slightly higher tolerance for uncertainty, a quiet sense that rest is always possible again. These traces matter. They shape how you meet the day, how quickly you recover from stress, how deeply you sleep the next night. As the deep night holds you here, trust is complete. There is nothing to prove, nothing to anticipate, nothing to manage. Life rests within itself. And in this resting trust, healing continues in its most stable form, not as change, but as preservation, not as effort, but as confidence written into the body itself. The night remains deep, rest remains whole, trust remains unbroken, and you remain exactly where you need to be. At this depth of sleep, the idea of lack no longer exists. There is no sense that something should be added, improved, or corrected. The system is not evaluating itself. It is simply complete, moment by moment, breath by breath, rhythm by rhythm. Neuroscience describes this phase as one of maximal homeostatic balance. Internal variables, temperature, pH, glucose availability, neural excitability, remain within narrow, stable ranges. When these variables are stable, the brain does not signal need. And when there is no signal of need, the experience of lack dissolves entirely. This is not satisfaction in the emotional sense. It is sufficiency at the biological level. During waking life, the mind constantly scans for what is missing. More time, more clarity, more control. This scanning creates tension even in moments of abundance. At night, that scanning shuts down. The neural circuits responsible for comparison and evaluation reduce their activity dramatically. Without comparison, nothing is lacking. As you rest now, the system has no reason to want anything else. It is not oriented toward future improvement or past correction. It exists entirely in maintenance mode, where enough is the default state. From a philosophical perspective, this is profound. Many traditions suggest that suffering arises not from pain itself, but from the belief that something is missing in the present moment. Deep sleep offers a direct counterexample. In its deepest phases, the present moment is sufficient by design. There is no striving here, no becoming, no unfinished business. The body continues to breathe. The heart continues its slow, steady rhythm. The brain continues its synchronized waves. Everything essential is present, and nothing extra is demanded. This state of sufficiency is deeply healing. When the nervous system experiences nothing is missing, stress pathways remain quiet. Defensive readiness stays low. Repair processes proceed without interruption. Over time, this experience subtly reshapes baseline expectations. The system learns that completeness is possible. You will not remember learning this, but the learning remains. It shows up later as patience, as tolerance, as a reduced urge to fix everything immediately. These qualities do not come from insight alone. They come from repeated experiences of sufficiency embedded in deep rest. As the night continues, there is no movement toward morning yet, no anticipation of waking. The system is not preparing, it is maintaining. In this maintenance, the sense of self is entirely absent. There is no one to feel complete. Completeness exists without an owner. This is not emptiness. It is fullness without identity. Philosophers sometimes pointed to this state as the ground beneath experience. the place where nothing needs to be added to make life whole. Sleep reaches this ground naturally, without effort, every night. As you remain here, nothing calls for attention. There are no signals to follow, no sensations demanding response. The system rests in equilibrium. This is what it means for nothing to be missing, not because everything has been achieved, but because achievement is irrelevant here. The night holds this state effortlessly, allowing it to deepen and sustain itself. And within this quiet sufficiency, healing continues, not as change, but as preservation of what already works. You are not aware of being complete. Completion does not require awareness. It simply is. Even in the deepest night, rest is not an endpoint. It is a process without a finish line. While the body sleeps, life continues in its most fundamental form, steady, unhurried, and uninterrupted. Sleep researchers emphasize that deep sleep is not a static state. It is dynamic stability. Rhythms repeat, cycles overlap, and systems subtly adjust to maintain balance. Nothing dramatic happens, yet nothing stops happening either. This continuity is essential. As you remain asleep, the brain continues to cycle through phases of deep synchronization. Each cycle reinforces regulation. Each repetition strengthens resilience. These cycles do not build toward a climax. They simply sustain life through time. The body participates fully in this sustaining. Organs function at low but steady capacity. Cellular processes continue their quiet work. Waste is cleared. Resources are redistributed. Energy is conserved and restored. This is life at its most efficient. From a philosophical perspective, this challenges the idea that life must always move forward to have meaning. Here, life simply maintains itself, and that maintenance is meaningful in its own right. Without it, growth would collapse. Many traditions speak of renewal as something that follows effort. Science shows something more subtle. Renewal happens when effort stops long enough for systems to reset themselves. As you sleep now, there is no sense of renewal occurring, no feeling of being restored. And yet restoration continues moment by moment. This is why deep rest cannot be rushed. It unfolds according to internal timing, not desire. There is no awareness of time here. Minutes and hours pass without reference. This timelessness allows processes to complete without interruption. When time is not tracked, nothing is hurried. The nervous system remains calm. The brain remains synchronized. The body remains supported by its own rhythms. There is no alarm, no anticipation, no readiness to respond. This is rest without edges. Philosophers sometimes describe this as abiding, remaining without moving toward or away from anything. Biology offers a parallel description, sustained homeostasis. As the night continues, this sustained balance becomes the dominant state. Fluctuations are contained. Disturbances are absorbed. The system remains steady even as it adjusts. You do not participate in this steadiness. You do not witness it. You do not remember it. But it matters. It matters because it reduces cumulative strain. It matters because it prevents small imbalances from becoming large ones. It matters because it allows tomorrow to begin from a place of relative ease. Rest does not end here. It continues quietly, carrying life forward without interruption. There is no moment when rest completes itself and hands over to something else. Instead, it gradually gives way to lighter states later on, when the time is right. For now, There is no movement toward that transition. The night remains deep. The system remains settled. Life continues in its simplest form. Breathing, circulating, synchronizing, maintaining. Nothing more is required. And as rest continues without end or expectation, healing remains embedded within it, steady, reliable, and completely independent of awareness. In the deepest stretch of the night, calm is no longer something that comes and goes. It becomes continuous, unbroken. There are no ripples of urgency, no subtle pulls toward awareness. The nervous system has settled into a sustained state of equilibrium that requires no maintenance from thought. Neuroscience describes this as prolonged parasympathetic dominance. The branch of the nervous system responsible for rest, digestion, and repair remains steadily active. There are no spikes of alertness, no microsurges of vigilance. The system trusts its environment completely. This sustained calm is rare during waking life. Even moments of relaxation are often interrupted by background monitoring. At night, that monitoring finally shuts down. The brain no longer checks for meaning, relevance, or threat. It allows calm to persist without interruption. This persistence is deeply restorative. When calm is unbroken, physiological systems stop compensating. Muscles no longer brace. Blood vessels no longer constrict unnecessarily. Hormonal signaling becomes smooth and predictable. The body is no longer reacting. It is simply functioning. From a cellular perspective, this is when repair becomes most efficient. Cells operate best under stable conditions. Fluctuation requires energy. Stability conserves it. Deep, sustained calm provides the ideal environment for maintenance and renewal. As you remain asleep now, this environment is fully established. Philosophically, unbroken calm reveals something essential about well-being. Peace is not something to be achieved through effort. It is what remains when effort is no longer required. Sleep demonstrates this truth with biological precision. There is no striving here, no holding, no letting go. Those concepts belong to consciousness. At this depth, consciousness has stepped aside. The mind is not wandering. It is not focused. It is not observing. It is inactive in the ways that consume energy, while active in ways that sustain life. This balance is what makes deep sleep irreplaceable. You are not aware of calm in this state. Calm does not need to be felt to exist. It is embedded in rhythm, chemistry, and coordination. It exists whether or not it is noticed. Over time, repeated exposure to this unbroken calm reshapes baseline nervous system activity. The system learns that extended peace is possible. This learning carries forward into waking life as reduced reactivity and increased emotional tolerance. You will not trace this change back to any single night. It accumulates quietly. As the night continues, there is no anticipation of disturbance. The system does not prepare for interruption. It remains open, relaxed, and unguarded. This openness is not vulnerability. It is confidence at the biological level. Life does not need to protect itself here. It knows it is supported. It knows it can rest fully without consequence. And so calm remains unbroken, not because it is maintained, but because there is nothing left to disrupt it. The system has reached a depth where balance sustains itself. You remain held in this depth, without awareness, without effort, without need. The night continues calmly. Healing continues calmly. Life continues calmly. Nothing changes, nothing needs to. As the night stretches on, it does so without landmarks. There are no moments to mark progress, no sensations to indicate depth. This is the long, quiet portion of rest that passes without notice and yet leaves the deepest imprint. Sleep researchers often note that people underestimate the value of long, uninterrupted sleep periods precisely because they are not memorable. The most restorative segments are the ones that feel like nothing happened at all. But something did happen. Something essential. During these long stretches, the brain remains in stable, slow-wave patterns for extended periods. This stability allows repair processes to complete cycles that shorter rest cannot finish. Incomplete cycles lead to lingering fatigue. Complete cycles restore resilience. As you remain asleep, these cycles continue without interruption. There is no sudden shift, no internal signal to change state. The system remains committed to rest as long as conditions allow. The body mirrors this commitment. Organs operate steadily at low demand. Energy consumption remains minimal. Resources are allocated toward maintenance rather than response. The entire system is aligned toward preservation. From a philosophical perspective, this long, quiet night challenges the idea that value must be visible. Here, value lies precisely in invisibility. Nothing calls attention to itself. Nothing announces success. And yet, without this quiet stretch, recovery would remain partial. As the night continues, emotional memory remains dormant. Identity remains inactive. Time remains untracked. The system exists outside of narrative. This absence of story is deeply protective. Stories require energy. Silence restores it. You are not missing anything by not being aware. Awareness is not required for restoration. In fact, awareness would interfere. This is why deep sleep feels timeless when remembered at all. It has no beginning, middle, or end. It simply is. And in that is, life restores itself to a functional baseline. Repeated nights of this kind of rest slowly rebuild capacity. Capacity to focus. Capacity to feel without overwhelm. Capacity to respond rather than react. These capacities do not come from effort. They come from nights like this. As the long, quiet night continues, there is no movement toward waking yet. The system is not transitioning. It is remaining exactly where it needs to be. Breathing remains automatic. Heart rhythms remain steady. Neural synchronization remains intact. Everything necessary is happening without oversight. This is rest doing its deepest work, not through intensity, but through duration, not through action, but through continuity. The night does not hurry. It does not optimize. It does not evaluate. It simply continues. And in this continuation, restoration becomes complete enough to sustain you through what comes next, whenever next arrives. For now, there is no next, only the long, quiet night, holding you without interruption, allowing life to renew itself in the simplest and most reliable way it knows. As the night continues without interruption, the body settles into a rhythm that feels older than memory. This rhythm does not belong to habit or routine. It belongs to biology in its most original form, a pace shaped long before modern life accelerated everything. Neuroscientists describe this phase of sleep as one in which circadian and ultradian rhythms align smoothly. Hormonal pulses occur at predictable intervals. Neural oscillations repeat with consistency. The system no longer compensates for disruption. It simply follows its natural timing. This return to rhythm is deeply stabilizing. During the day, rhythms are often interrupted. Light exposure, stress, artificial schedules, and constant stimulation push the body out of alignment. At night, especially in long, undisturbed sleep, these rhythms regain coherence. The body remembers how it is meant to move through time. As you remain asleep now, temperature regulation follows gentle curves rather than sharp corrections. Hormones related to repair and growth are released gradually. Metabolism slows into an efficient, restorative mode. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is delayed. From a philosophical perspective, rhythm has always been associated with harmony. Music, seasons, breath, and life itself depend on timing rather than force. Sleep restores this timing naturally, without instruction. You are not choosing this rhythm. You are returning to it. As muscles remain relaxed, the body conserves energy. That energy is redirected toward renewal. Micro tears in tissue are repaired. Neural pathways stabilize. Even subtle imbalances that escaped attention during the day begin to resolve. This resolution does not feel like change. It feels like settling. Psychological research suggests that rhythm is essential for emotional stability as well. When internal timing is consistent, emotional responses become less erratic. Mood stabilizes. The nervous system responds proportionally rather than defensively. These changes do not come from thought. They come from rhythm. As the night holds you, awareness remains absent. There is no sense of following a beat or noticing a pace. The system does not observe its own harmony. It simply exists within it. This is why deep rest feels grounding, even when unremembered. It reintroduces the body to its original tempo, the speed at which life functions best. Over time, repeated nights like this rebuild trust in rhythm. The system learns that it can rely on cycles rather than vigilance. This learning subtly reduces anxiety during waking hours. Life feels less urgent, less pressured. You may notice this later as patience, as an ability to wait without strain, as comfort in pauses. These qualities are not learned consciously. They are absorbed through nights of rhythmic rest. As breathing continues effortlessly, it matches the slow cadence of the heart. The heart matches the broader timing of the nervous system. Everything moves together. There is no peak here, no destination, only continuation within a rhythm that sustains life quietly and completely. The night does not demand awareness. It does not require participation. It simply carries the body through its original rhythm, allowing balance to restore itself in the most natural way possible. Now, even the subtlest traces of questioning have disappeared. The mind is no longer oriented toward understanding, solving, or interpreting. It rests in a state where questions have no relevance. Neuroscientists describe this as minimal cognitive differentiation. Thought-generating networks remain quiet. There is no narrative activity, no internal dialogue. The mind is not blank in the sense of absence. It is blank in the sense of rest. This kind of mental quiet is rare during waking life. Even moments of calm often contain background inquiry. At night, that inquiry dissolves completely. Without questions, there is no tension. The brain no longer seeks closure or certainty. It does not attempt to integrate experience conceptually. That work has already been done earlier in sleep. What remains now is pure rest, mental tissue allowed to be still. From a philosophical perspective, this state has often been described as peace beyond understanding, not because it is mysterious, but because understanding belongs to thought, and thought is no longer active. Here, rest is sufficient. As you remain asleep, the mind does not check in. It does not monitor its depth or duration. It does not anticipate waking. Time has no meaning here. Sequence has no importance. This absence of questioning is deeply healing. Questions, even gentle ones, require energy. They imply movement. When questions stop, energy is conserved and redirected toward maintenance. The nervous system remains calm. Emotional circuits remain neutral. Memory networks remain inactive. The entire system exists without demand. You are not aware of this absence. Absence does not announce itself, but it matters profoundly. Repeated exposure to this state teaches the system that it can exist without constant inquiry, that it does not need to resolve everything immediately. That uncertainty does not require tension. This learning influences waking life. It reduces mental overactivity. It softens compulsive thinking. It creates space between stimulus and response. As the night continues, there is no return of identity, no sense of self to maintain. The mind is not concerned with who you are or what you will do. Those constructs belong to the day. Here, there is only rest. Breathing continues gently. The heart continues steadily. The brain continues synchronously. Nothing is missing. Nothing is sought. The mind rests, not because it has answers, but because answers are unnecessary here. And in this questionless rest, healing continues in its quietest form, without effort, without awareness, without interruption. The night remains deep. The system remains settled, and you remain fully supported by a state where rest itself is complete. As the deepest portion of the night continues, there is a quiet generosity at work. The night sustains you without asking for attention, understanding, or participation. It does not require gratitude. It does not demand trust. It simply continues to hold the body and mind in conditions where restoration can unfold. Neuroscience describes this phase as sustained deep sleep with minimal cortical activity. The brain is no longer switching states rapidly. Instead, it remains in a stable pattern that allows long-duration maintenance to proceed without interruption. This stability is essential. Without it, repair remains partial and fragile. At this depth, the brain is not gathering information. It is preserving integrity. Neural networks maintain their balance. Synaptic strength remains calibrated. Excitatory and inhibitory signals stay proportionate. These details determine how easily the mind will shift between calm and alertness the next day. Stability here creates flexibility later. The body mirrors this generosity. It continues to provide oxygen, nutrients, and circulation evenly, without prioritizing urgency. Organs work quietly. Systems support one another without competition. Energy is distributed in a way that favors long-term function rather than short-term reaction. This is care without conditions. From a philosophical perspective, this state reveals a truth that is often missed during waking life. Support does not always arrive as effort or intervention. Sometimes it arrives as continuity, something that simply does not withdraw. Sleep offers this continuity each night. As you remain asleep now, there is no sense of being supported. Support does not need to be felt to exist. It operates beneath sensation, beneath thought, beneath awareness. And yet, without it, life would quickly strain and fragment. The nervous system recognizes this support implicitly. It responds by remaining open rather than guarded. stress pathways stay quiet. Vigilance does not return. The system commits fully to rest because nothing suggests it should do otherwise. This commitment allows healing to deepen. You may never remember this portion of the night. You may feel as though time simply disappeared, but disappearance is part of the design. Healing here depends on absence of interference, absence of attention, absence of control. In waking life, absence is often feared. At night, absence becomes medicine. As the night continues, nothing new is introduced. No thought intrudes. No sensation demands response. The system remains in a steady, uninterrupted state of maintenance. This steadiness is not static. Small adjustments continue to occur, but they happen within a narrow range, preserving calm rather than disrupting it. Life sustains itself through consistency rather than change. This is why deep rest feels so different from relaxation. Relaxation still contains awareness. Deep rest does not. It carries you without involving you. And as this carrying continues, the body learns that it does not need constant oversight to function well. This learning reshapes baseline stress responses. It makes trust more accessible in waking life. The night sustains you without asking anything in return. No effort, no belief, no attention. It simply remains present long enough for life to do what it does best: maintain itself quietly and effectively. Now, the night reaches a place that feels like a pause without edges. Nothing is beginning. Nothing is ending. There is no movement toward anything else. This is the long pause where nothing needs to happen, and nothing does. Sleep scientists often describe this phase as prolonged deep sleep with low variability. The system is not transitioning. It is not preparing. It is not responding. It remains suspended in a stable state that allows all other processes to complete in the background. This pause is not emptiness. It is fullness without activity. During the day, the nervous system is constantly preparing for what comes next. Even moments of rest are often infused with anticipation. At night, anticipation disappears entirely. There is no next. Without anticipation, the system conserves enormous amounts of energy. That energy is redirected towards slow, thorough repair. Processes that require time rather than intensity finally receive what they need. At the cellular level, long-duration repair mechanisms complete their cycles. Tissues stabilize. Neural membranes restore their optimal balance. Metabolic byproducts are cleared fully rather than partially. These processes depend on uninterrupted time. This is why the pause matters. From a philosophical perspective, this long pause reflects a deep wisdom. Not all moments are meant to move forward. Some moments exist to hold space, to allow accumulation to settle, to prevent constant motion from becoming damage. Sleep provides this pause naturally, without instruction. As you remain asleep now, there is no sense of waiting. Waiting implies awareness of time. Here, time has no relevance. The pause exists outside of sequence. It does not measure itself. This timelessness protects the system. When time is not tracked, nothing is rushed. When nothing is rushed, balance emerges. The mind is not present to experience this pause. Identity remains inactive. There is no self to feel bored or impatient. The absence of self is what makes this pause possible. Without self-reference, nothing feels incomplete. The body continues breathing steadily. The heart maintains its slow rhythm. The brain continues its synchronized waves. Everything essential proceeds without interruption. Nothing needs to happen here because everything that needs to happen already is. This is one of the deepest forms of rest, a state where even healing does not feel like activity. It feels like stillness, even though countless processes continue beneath the surface. You will not remember this pause, but your system will. It will remember it as stability, as resilience, as a quiet reference point that life can return to again. As the long pause continues, there is no movement toward waking yet. No signal to prepare, no subtle stirring. The night remains deep and unbroken. Nothing is missing, nothing is required. Only the pause itself, wide, quiet, and sufficient, holding you in a state where life can remain intact without effort, without awareness, and without urgency. As the night continues to hold you, there is no sense of direction left. Nothing is moving forward, and nothing is falling behind. Direction belongs to waking life, plans, goals, timelines. Here, in the deep night, direction dissolves completely, and what remains is pure continuity. Neuroscience describes this phase as one in which the brain has fully disengaged from goal-oriented processing. The networks responsible for anticipation, decision-making, and sequencing are inactive. There is no internal map being updated, no future being simulated. The system exists entirely without trajectory. This absence of direction is not confusion. It is freedom from demand. During the day, the brain constantly orients itself toward what comes next. This orientation consumes energy and creates tension, even when nothing urgent is happening. At night, when orientation shuts down, that energy is released. The system no longer needs to prepare. As you remain asleep now, this release is complete. Physiologically, this lack of direction allows repair processes to proceed without competition. There is no signal pulling resources toward readiness. Everything is allocated toward maintenance and restoration. Muscles remain relaxed. Organs function steadily. Neural communication remains synchronized. From a philosophical perspective, this state reveals something deeply reassuring. Life does not require constant navigation to continue. When direction disappears, existence does not collapse. It stabilizes. Many forms of exhaustion come from always facing forward, always leaning into the next moment. Sleep removes that lean entirely. It allows the system to stand upright again, without tilt, without pull. As awareness remains absent, there is no experience of drifting or arriving. There is no sense of movement at all. The night carries you without asking where you want to go. This carrying is gentle but absolute. The nervous system responds by remaining open and unguarded. There is no vigilance, no background alertness. The system trusts that it does not need to steer. This trust deepens rest further. Over time, repeated experiences of being carried without direction reshape how stress is held in waking life. The body learns that it does not need to control every outcome to remain safe. This learning reduces baseline tension and makes recovery more efficient. You will not remember learning this. It will show up later as ease. As the night continues, nothing shifts toward morning yet. There is no internal cue to turn upward. The system remains deeply engaged in rest without orientation. Breathing continues quietly. The heart continues steadily. The brain continues its slow, synchronized waves. Life continues without direction, and nothing is lost. There is no need to guide this process, no need to observe it. The night knows how to carry you because it has done so countless times before. And as it continues to carry you now, rest remains complete, healing remains uninterrupted, and direction remains unnecessary. Now, the night reaches a depth where even the idea of depth has no meaning. There is no scale to measure how far rest has gone. There is only rest itself, sufficient, complete, and unchallenged. Sleep researchers describe this as sustained deep sleep with no signs of arousal or transition. The system is not moving toward lighter states. It is not cycling rapidly. It remains settled in a stable pattern that allows all restorative processes to finish what they began. This stability is rare and precious. In waking life, nothing stays settled for long. Thoughts arise, sensations shift, emotions fluctuate. At night, in this quiet depth, fluctuation is minimal. The system rests in a narrow range where nothing needs correction. As you remain asleep now, the brain maintains this narrow range with remarkable precision. Neural excitability stays low. Inhibitory signals remain strong. The system does not drift toward disturbance. This is rest that does not need improvement. From a philosophical perspective, this state reflects a simple truth. There are moments when enough truly is enough. No addition would make things better. No subtraction would make things clearer. The present condition is sufficient by design. Sleep reaches this condition naturally. There is no self present to feel satisfied. Satisfaction belongs to consciousness. Here, sufficiency exists without being felt. The system does not ask whether it is rested enough. It simply continues resting. The body mirrors this sufficiency. Muscles remain slack. Joints remain unstrained. Circulation remains even. There is no urge to move or adjust. Everything has found its place. This quiet depth supports the final stages of restoration. Processes that require the longest uninterrupted time complete their cycles. Neural patterns stabilize fully. Emotional tone resets to baseline. Physical systems regain their default balance. You do not experience this completion. Completion does not require experience. It reveals itself later, indirectly, through steadier mood, clearer attention, and a sense that the body responds more easily to life. As the night remains deep, there is no pull toward awareness, no stirring at the edges. The system remains committed to rest because rest is still doing its work. There is nothing left to release, nothing left to settle. Rest has reached a point where it is enough on its own. And in this quiet sufficiency, healing rests with you, not as an event, not as a change, but as a stable condition held gently by the night. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is happening. Only rest, complete and unbroken, carrying life forward until the time comes, much later, to gently, naturally return. As the night continues into its final deep hours, the system reaches a level of settling that cannot be rushed or forced. This is not a new state, but a deepening of what has already been present, a quiet confirmation that everything has found its place. Neuroscience shows that in these later stages of deep sleep, the brain's activity becomes even more uniform. Large populations of neurons fire together in slow, synchronized waves. There is very little variation, very little disruption. The brain is no longer reorganizing actively. It is stabilizing what has already been reorganized. Stabilization is essential. Without it, the benefits of earlier rest would remain fragile. Emotional balance would be temporary. Physical repair would be incomplete. These final deep hours allow changes to settle into long-term patterns, where they can support you beyond the night. As you remain asleep now, the nervous system maintains its lowest baseline of arousal. There are no alarms, no internal checks, no readiness signals. The body does not prepare to act. It prepares to remain. This remaining is powerful. Physiologically, muscles stay deeply relaxed, reducing pressure on joints and connective tissue. Blood flow remains evenly distributed, supporting organs without strain. The immune system continues its quiet surveillance, correcting small irregularities without triggering inflammation. The brain, too, rests in confirmation rather than exploration. Neural connections that were adjusted earlier in the night now hold steady. Emotional circuits remain calm. Memory networks remain quiet, no longer replaying or sorting. From a philosophical perspective, this stage reflects a profound kind of peace. Not the peace that comes from resolution, but the peace that comes from no longer needing resolution. Life, for now, does not require answers. In waking life, there is often a sense that something must be concluded before rest can be earned. Sleep reverses this logic. Rest comes first. Conclusion follows later, if it is needed at all. As awareness remains absent, there is no sense of nearing morning. Time does not move forward here. It does not move backward either. It simply continues without reference. This timeless continuation allows the system to fully absorb the effects of rest. Nothing is rushed out of place. Nothing is left unfinished because nothing is being finished. This is the body and mind agreeing to stay exactly as they are for as long as necessary. Repeated nights that reach this depth create lasting change. Baseline stress levels decrease. Emotional responses become less extreme. Recovery from daily strain becomes more efficient. These changes do not announce themselves. They appear quietly over time. You will not remember these hours. They leave no memory behind. But memory is not their purpose. Their purpose is stability, the kind that does not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. Stability that remains available even on difficult days. As the night continues to hold you here, everything essential has already happened. There is no more work to do, no adjustment to make. The system rests in a settled state, confident and complete. Nothing is missing. Nothing is pending. Only the quiet continuation of rest, allowing what has been restored to remain restored. Still deeply asleep, the system begins a shift so subtle it cannot be felt. This is not waking. It is not even preparation. It is simply the first hint of balance, turning gently toward what comes next. While rest remains fully intact, sleep scientists describe this as a gradual modulation of depth rather than a transition. The brain does not suddenly change states. It slowly adjusts internal thresholds so that when the time eventually comes, waking will not be abrupt or jarring. This adjustment happens quietly, beneath awareness. Neural activity remains slow and synchronized, but flexibility begins to increase slightly. The system prepares for responsiveness without activating it. This ensures that waking hours later will feel natural rather than forced. As you remain asleep now, rest does not weaken. It remains deep and protective, but it becomes more resilient, able to release itself later without shock. This resilience is important. Abrupt transitions stress the nervous system. Gentle transitions preserve balance. Sleep ensures that the return to awareness happens gradually, supported by internal readiness rather than external demand. From a biological perspective, hormones begin to adjust very slowly. Levels associated with deep repair remain dominant, while others that support alertness are held in reserve. Nothing rises sharply. Nothing falls suddenly. The body remains deeply supported. Philosophically, this stage reflects a gentle truth about change. Healthy change does not interrupt stability. It emerges from it. The system does not need to abandon rest to prepare for life. It can hold both without conflict. As awareness remains absent, there is no anticipation of morning, no sense of returning. The self has not reappeared. Identity remains asleep. The mind does not rehearse plans or obligations. This absence protects the transition. The system knows how to re-enter activity on its own terms. It does not need instruction. It does not need motivation. It follows rhythm. As breathing continues steadily, the heart maintains its calm pace. Muscles remain loose. There is no tension gathering at the edges. Everything stays settled. This is rest that knows how to let go when the time comes, but not before. Repeated experiences of this gentle modulation make waking life easier. The body learns that transitions do not have to be harsh. That movement can follow stillness without conflict. That change does not require struggle. You may notice this later as mornings that feel less abrupt, as a body that responds more smoothly to the day, as a mind that does not immediately rush forward. These changes come from nights like this. For now, there is no movement toward awareness. The system remains deeply asleep, fully supported, and quietly aligned with its own timing. Rest still holds you completely. Healing still continues invisibly. Nothing has ended. The night remains present, calm and sufficient, gently holding the shape of morning far in the distance, without calling it closer, without letting it arrive. For now, there is only sleep, steady and kind, carrying you exactly as long as you need. As the night approaches its final stretch, rest remains deep, but the quality of stillness begins to change in a way that does not disturb sleep. There is no awakening yet, no awareness, only a subtle readiness forming beneath the surface, like light slowly gathering behind closed curtains. Neuroscience describes this phase as late-night consolidation. The deepest restorative processes have already done their work. What happens now is integration. The brain ensures that everything restored, recalibrated, and repaired remains stable as conditions slowly shift. Neural activity stays slow and coordinated, but responsiveness increases just enough to allow flexibility later. This balance is delicate. Too much alertness would interrupt rest. Too little would make waking abrupt. The brain navigates this balance without conscious involvement. As you remain asleep, the nervous system continues to signal safety. There is no stress response, no vigilance, no emotional activation. Even as internal thresholds adjust, calm remains unbroken. This is why the final hours of sleep feel so different from exhaustion-based rest. They are gentle, not heavy. Physiologically, the body remains deeply relaxed. Muscle tone stays low. Breathing remains steady and automatic. Circulation continues efficiently, supporting organs evenly. There is no urgency anywhere in the system. From a philosophical perspective, this moment represents a rare form of completeness. Nothing new is being added, and nothing is being taken away. The system rests in a state where change is possible, but not required. This is balance that does not cling to stillness, yet does not abandon it. Many life philosophies speak of readiness without striving. This is readiness in its purest form. Not anticipation, not preparation, simply the absence of resistance to what comes next. As identity remains asleep, there is no sense of returning to oneself. The self has not yet reassembled. Thoughts have not resumed. Memory remains inactive. This protects the final stages of rest from intrusion. Sleep researchers emphasize the importance of this phase. Without it, waking can feel disorienting or abrupt. With it, awareness returns smoothly, without shock to the nervous system. As you continue resting here, the system quietly confirms that it is complete. Emotional tone is neutral. Stress hormones remain low. Neural patterns hold steady. There is no unfinished work calling for attention. This is not the end of sleep. It is the confirmation of it. You will not remember this confirmation. It does not leave an impression, but it stabilizes everything that has already been restored. It ensures that healing remains intact beyond the night. As the night continues to hold you, there is still no pull toward awareness. Morning remains distant. The system does not rush to meet it. It waits patiently, resting fully until the moment arrives naturally. For now, nothing stirs, nothing asks, nothing changes. Only the quiet assurance that rest has done what it needed to do, and that awareness, when it returns later, will rise from a place of balance rather than strain. Now, the final chapter of the night unfolds in silence. Rest does not end suddenly. It does not hand you back to the world abruptly. Instead, it loosens its hold gradually, without pulling you out of sleep, without asking you to notice. Neuroscientists describe this as the final modulation of sleep depth. The brain prepares for eventual wakefulness, but it does so slowly, carefully, ensuring that the nervous system remains calm and supported throughout the transition. Neural rhythms remain synchronized, but variability increases just enough to allow responsiveness later. Hormonal levels adjust incrementally. There are no spikes, no alarms, no internal urgency. The body remains deeply at ease. As you continue sleeping, breathing stays soft and unforced. Muscles remain loose. There is no tension gathering at the edges of awareness. The system does not rehearse movement or thought. It waits. From a philosophical perspective, this moment carries a gentle message. Letting go does not mean being pushed forward. Release can happen softly, without disturbance. Change does not need to interrupt peace. Sleep demonstrates this perfectly. You are not waking yet. You are being released from depth without being removed from rest. Identity has not returned. Memory has not resumed. There is no sense of self preparing to re-enter the day. This protects the final moments of sleep from mental intrusion. The nervous system remains calm because nothing suggests that it must act. There is no threat, no demand, no requirement to respond. As the night loosens its grip, it does so with care. It does not drop you. It does not abandon you. It simply creates space for awareness to return later when the time is right. Sleep scientists note that this gentle release is what makes waking feel natural rather than forced. When rest ends gradually, the body carries calm forward into the day. Stress does not surge immediately. Emotional tone remains balanced. This is one of sleep's final gifts. As you remain asleep now, Rest is still present. Healing is still embedded. Nothing has been taken away. The system remains whole, calm, and supported. There is no need to anticipate waking. Anticipation belongs to awareness, and awareness is still resting. The night continues quietly, holding you even as it prepares to step back. It does not hurry. It does not announce its departure. When morning eventually arrives, it will arrive gently, rising out of this calm rather than interrupting it. For now, there is nothing to do and nothing to know. You are still asleep, still supported, still at rest. And as rest releases you slowly, without waking you, without asking anything of you, it leaves behind what matters most. A system that remembers how to be calm, how to be balanced, and how to meet the day without carrying the weight of the night. You remain safe. You remain held. And sleep continues, exactly as long as it needs to. You don't need to listen anymore. The words can soften now and fade. Your body already knows what to do. Your breathing is slow and steady. Your muscles are loose and heavy. Your thoughts no longer need a shape. You are safe now. There is nothing to solve, nothing to remember, nothing to become. Just rest. If any sound remains, let it blur into the quiet. If any thought appears, let it pass without following. You don't need to hold on. You don't need to let go. You are already drifting. You are safe now. Drift away. Drift away. The night continues without asking anything of you. Sleep carries you gently, and healing continues on its own. You are safe now, and you can rest.